In 1923, when Segovia first met Herman Hauser, he was impressed with the sound of the instrument, but told him that this is a wrong style instrument. He should make them after the Spanish model. Segovia sort of coached and encouraged and cajoled Herman Hauser to build the type of guitar he wanted. And he was actually playing Hausers well before 1937, but the one that he did produce in 37 was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of guitar. It was considered by many the finest guitar of the 20th century. This is a Martin 0045. 00 referring to the size of the instrument, 45 to the model, and 45 is still today the highest number in the model. Brazilian rosewood on the back and sides, spruce on the top, all original. There were 94 of these guitars made from 1904 to 1936, and then they discontinued this particular model. One of the first years where X-racing and steel strings were used together. It has a sort of washboarding effect on it, and as a Martin guitar, you generally don't touch it. You don't want to refinish it, overspray it, or do anything that would change its originality. This one is Santos Hernandez. He was a very accomplished guitar maker before he started working for Manuel Ramirez. And then after that, he improved more and is considered one of the top flamenco makers. This instrument is a flamenco negra, which means dark side and back. Most of them are made out of maple or cypress. Cypress probably being the wood of choice. This instrument was in South America for many, many years. That's where a lot of the Spanish guitars ended up. There was a better economy in Buenos Aires and Argentina than there was in Spain, so a lot of the best instruments were exported. This one was played by a well-known recording artist, Manuel Ramirez Iglesias. And so it has a very good tone. It looks a little strange because it got beat up quite a bit. Now we put this little inlay in to cover up the holes from the flamenco strumming and tapping. Julian Gomez Ramirez was a Spaniard. He learned the trade from Jose Ramirez, not related, but he did train in his workshop just before the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. He was sort of friends with Manuel Ramirez, Jose's younger brother, and they decided they would open up a shop in Paris, France, because there was a great interest in guitars and they could do well there. So Julian actually went to Paris, opened up a workshop, and became a very well-known, respected builder in France. Ida Pretzley played his instruments, and later Lagoya also did. This instrument was built for Mario Macaferri. Macaferri was in Paris in the late 20s, setting up the Selmer guitar program. Jose Ramirez, too, was by far the best guitarist in the family, and he spent quite a few years in South America as a performer. He didn't end up having a lot of famous luthiers come out of his shop. What he did to the guitar in Spain was keep the trade alive through the Spanish Civil War and through World War II, when the country was very stressed financially and manpower and market demand for instruments. So he survived both of those wars and was able to pass the guitar on to his son, Jose III. This is an interesting guitar. It was made in 1956. It was made for John Williams and his father Len, who had a guitar store in London called the Spanish Guitar Shop. John was about 16 years old and studying with Andres Segovia. So he had this guitar, made 2 recordings with it, his first 2. And the next year, Segovia was playing Fleta also. So I surmise Segovia had the experience of playing this instrument, and it helped him to decide what his next instrument would be. He built with a different construction and got a little different sound out of the guitar because of the way it's braced inside. He used 9 often instead of 7, and every guitar tends to have a signature sound, the luthiers do. I once asked John, I told John that I had his instrument, you know, from way back when, and John's response was, "Oh, that old thing." He said, "Where in the world did you get that?" This guitar model was called a Centenario model, and it was to celebrate 100 years of building guitars. This is 1981. It predates the 100th anniversary by 1 year. And so they use their best woods, their fanciest bindings, with all the bells and whistles, Roger tuners and ivory in it. It's their most expensive guitar out of the shop. This one has an interesting history because at one time it was destroyed by a jealous girlfriend who didn't want her boyfriend to spend so much time playing the guitar. So the top is actually not Ramirez's top. It had to be replaced when the hammer destroyed it. This guitar is very special to me. It was built by John Gilbert in 1991, and this was the last guitar that John and his son built together. So it's the last signed John Gilbert. John was one of the first real innovators in guitar construction from the United States. And he came out with some new ideas on how to build a bridge, how to support the guitar with pins rather than a solid saddle, various other things that have made the guitar a little more powerful and increased the penetrating quality of the sound. And it's a lovely guitar to play.